Hey everybody, David Skorica here. So, beautiful day. Let's see, my friend's house. So this is amazing. Let's do a little thing here. I would like to buy this house one day for my dad, and me and my dad for his retirement. But I don't know, my buddy, he just built another house. It's from Miami. See the water over here? So this, you can see, this is why Eleuthera is so unique. So we're on the other side now. That beach I walk on is in the Caribbean. So this is the, on the Atlantic, this is the Caribbean. So you can see it's really cool, this deck. I don't see it. There used to be a little thing. Oh, it's below there. Yeah, you can see there's a little glass thing where you can see down. But yeah, that's new. They just built that pool. So this is beautiful. So yeah, there's these cliffs here, and this deck, it's pretty cool. It extends like over onto the ocean. So you could take a dive. So obviously, yeah, if you live in Florida or something, Florida doesn't have cliffs like this and stuff, right? So really cool. So yeah, the first video I did by the ocean today, I walked all day today. It's hot here. Very humid, very muggy today. So I did by the ocean, and basically, it was just too windy. The second video I did, which I'll put out on the weekend, was fine because I was walking with the wind, but the one I did was too windy. So I want to continue this theme of 2000 and today, because again, at that big sell-off that happened after Labor Day, it gave me deja vu. It made me really think of 2000. Because I remember in 2000, even though the market had gone parabolic, we were in a big bubble, because the S&P was so close to that high again in August, I was like, oh, maybe we got one more move left. Maybe 2000 is going to be like 29 or like 9, or we're going to move up until the end of the year, or move up again, next few months. There's one more blow off coming, and then that started and the bubble was done. And so that was kind of what this reminded me of. So today we're going to talk about the NASDAQ. So it's very similar to 2000 in that, the S&P is not really where the bubble is. The NASDAQ's where the bubble is. In 2007, it was housing where the bubble was. It wasn't really in the stock market. The stock market got hit by the bursting of the housing bubble. Excuse me. But it wasn't the epicenter of the bubble. It wasn't housing. It was so it was housing. So but in 2000, so what happened in that move is that the S&P, everything got whacked in the spring. Everything rallied into August, but the NASDAQ wasn't really that close to its high. It was 4,300. The high was 5,000. I am going to tell you something about this house in a second, though. So the NASDAQ was 4,300, and and the S&P was right back at the highs. So that's kind of, again, what happened after this August correction. The S&P went right back to the highs, but the NASDAQ was still quite a bit below the highs, and the second semiconductors look like a total failed rally. So that's what really reminds me that after the bubble blow off, tech kind of has underperformed and is rolling over quicker because it was so much of a bigger bubble. So I think that's kind of what's going on. And then basically we declined all the way into the fourth quarter of 2000. And then when it looked like the economy was starting a recession, in January 2001, the Fed began to cut rates. And by then the NASDAQ was down over 50% from its highs. Now, it was a little different back then because this is now the Magnificent Seven. They obviously have earnings and profits. And back then we had all the dot-coms and companies with no revenues, profits, etc. So it is a little bit different. So anyhow, but I think it really is, like, again, similar to that 2000 thing in the NASDAQ, where the NASDAQ was the parabolic market. After it got whacked, it kind of lagged on the rebound and then led the way down. So I think let's watch what's happening in the next few weeks and months, and that's what will happen. So the thing I wanted to tell you about the house, you might be like, hey, Dave, why didn't you buy a house like this? Well, first of all, this house would have been about twice the price as my house. And look, I've done well, but I'm not super rich or anything. And I like to live, there is that saying, living below your means or at your means. So when I bought my house, if I would have bought a house like this, my mortgage payment would have been double, right? And, whatever. So, and it may seem funny, I prefer where I am because I'm on top of a hill and I get the winds from both the east and the west. This only gets the wind from the west. And like 80 to 90% of the time on this island, the wind is coming from the Atlantic. It's coming from the east blowing west. So I get that breeze. So a lot of times you'll come to this area and it will just be muggy and full of mosquitoes, and I'll have an amazing breeze at my house. So as nice as this is, and you can only watch the sunset here. On my house, I can watch the sunrise and sunset. So anyhow, but yeah, this is a great house. Like I said, my dad would like to. Okay, this is the thing here. You can see the water through this cool little thing here. So like I said, you can type. People jump off the roof of this house. They jump off the deck, etc. So, and by the way, if any of you are on vacation, this guy rents it out. So if you want to stay down the road from me, I don't know why you want to hang out